We're now going to be going over the second part of the genetic pedigrees intro and practice. The type of pedigrees that you see here are autosomal dominant. And in autosomal dominant pedigrees, there's no carriers because anyone who has the trait automatically has it with a dominant allele. It affects males and females equally because it is carried along the autosome and not the sex chromosome. And anyone who has it also has a parent who has it because they inherited that dominant allele from a parent. So here, there is, we are looking at the trait called polydactyly. And here is an x-ray of someone who has that condition. It's a trait where the person has an extra finger. And this is an x-ray of someone with the condition. So here's a thumb and an extra finger. So if someone has the trait and it's shaded in, that person can be homozygous dominant or heterozygous. If someone doesn't have the trait, they're homozygous recessive. So obviously I'm homozygous recessive. So for number one, what type of individual that may exist with a recessive trait cannot exist with a dominant trait? So it's homozygous recessive. Why are there no half-filled circles? And that's because the dominant allele is always expressed automatically here because there's only one genotype associated with non-polydactyly people. You could go ahead and assign the genotype to all these unshaded circles and squares. For number 1A, determining genotypes. Use capital P for the dominant allele and lowercase p for the recessive allele. So what is the genotype of person 1, 2? That person has polydactyly. There's two possibilities, capital P, or capital P, lowercase p. However, this person has a daughter that has two of the recessives. Therefore, they had to pass along a recessive and therefore have it. So that person is heterozygous. What is the genotype of person 2, 1? Well, that person has a normal phenotype, so they're homozygous recessive. Now, on to the next part. What is the genotype of person 3, 1? So person 3, 1 can be capital P, but there's also the possibility that they could also be heterozygous. So capital P, or capital P, lowercase p. So 3A, complete a Punnett square for individuals 2, 2 and 2, 3. So both people, 2, 2 and 2, 3, both have polydactyly. So they both have the dominant allele. But both this male and this female have a parent who is normal, so each inherited a recessive allele, and that makes them both heterozygous. So in 3A, I'm just filling out the Punnett square here and then answering the question. The genotypic ratio is 1 to 2 to 1, and the phenotypic ratio is 3 to 1. For 3B, part 3, do offspring match these ratios? Yes or no, and explain. So here's the offspring in that cross. And we do have 3 polydactylies to 1 regular, so that works out. We don't know for sure the genotypic ratio, but we do know the phenotypic ratio. So I will circle yes, and I'll write that we do have 3 polydactyly to 1 normal, or 1 non-polydactyly. Number 4, now imagine the same pedigree above is for a family with achondroplasia, which is dwarfism. Complete the following lists. So for A, list individuals who are carriers of achondroplasia. The answer to that is that there are none, because for autosomal dominant traits, there are no carriers. For 4B, list the individuals who have achondroplasia. These are all the people who are shaded in. For 4C, list individuals who have the normal phenotype. And what's listed here is all the people who are not shaded in. Number 5, imagine person 3-4 gets married to a male who has a normal phenotype. Draw in this new individual in the pedigree above. So I'll go and do that now. And there. So if they're normal, I'll also add little d. Number 6, now imagine individual 3-4 and her husband want to have children. You are their genetic counselor. What do you tell them is the probability that they will have a child with achondroplasia? So this person, I guess really, right, could be homozygous dominant or heterozygous. So what are the two possibilities there? Okay, so let's determine that. So here's the heterozygote. All these are heterozygote. Here we have half as normal or half as heterozygote, right? So you could say 50% or 100%, right? However, one thing that I'm going to add and tell you now is that when there is one allele, that person actually, right, is born with achondroplasia. When someone actually has two alleles, the person, fails to develop. Based on the genetics and the math, 50 to 100%, most likely, right, this person is probably heterozygous, but following the math and the patterns, there's the answer. Number 7, do you think this couple should have children? Explain why or why not. Can you think of any alternatives if they really want to have a healthy child without achondroplasia? Explain. So this is up to you to decide, but you can provide the data, the percent chance, the other options that the couple would have available to them. Please let me know if you have any questions, and please feel free to email me. Thank you.